Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to the channel. We are back on Anton Daniel's channel, and on this particular day, the attacks towards the Red Pill movement, because there are a lot of people who've been put in a position where they start saying, oh, I'm not Red Pill, I'm not this, coward dice, nonsense. Anyway, she is saying, this is one of these, I believe, feminist types. She says a red pill is destroying young men. She says she refuses to date men that are masculine or something. Okay, at least that's what Anton Daniels has put, that can't date a man that likes red pill content. That's her thing. Now, the reason why a woman like this will come and just say and just start talking about how she's so important, that her decisions of not dating red pill men, should be considered very seriously by you guys. Otherwise, you won't get her. The arrogance that you simps have installed in these low quality females is actually astounding. So anyway, let's listen in to what Anton Daniels, or at least what she's saying and what Anton Daniels will respond to. Then I'll give my usual narration. But first, subscribe to the channel. Peace.
Date a man that likes red pill content, because red pill content is ruining the lives of young men. A lot of men are so afraid of being labeled a simp, they don't want to be labeled a simp, that they will not treat a woman well. They won't even compliment a woman. They won't even be nice to a woman because they are so afraid of being a simp.
Now, that's, yes, I think she's trying to, she's not really realizing she's speaking kind of the truth. That shame is a very powerful motivator for people to do or not to do things. So there are a lot of you mediocre males that have been gassing up these mediocre females. So, as it turns out, we've made fun of you. We make fun of you all the time, and we'll continue to do so until you change. Because your actions do affect everyone else. Because now somebody like this, who really, if you remove that filter, is probably a 4 or 5, she thinks she come to the internet and tell us, yes, I will not date such men. Like, it's as if we are rushing out to date her. I know you simps are, but really, men who have the red pill as a praxeology do not consider these females anything worth more than a busted nut. That's it. This is a 3 or 4, somebody for the streets. It's for a few hours on the weekend and never to see them again. That's what this translates to. But anyway, because you people have inflated these 3 or 4's egos, this is what we have to listen to. But it's great content.
The last guy that I talked to was an avid red pill watcher, and he was the same man that friend zoned me and wanted me to chase him, and and I was wondering, I'm like, where is this jadedness coming from?
No, they really hate it now because she'd really like some man, and the man is refused to simp on her, to chase her, because they want the double, do they call it double whammy? They want not only to be adored and chased by the top men, but that's what they want. They want to be adored by the top men and chased by these top men who have all the options in the world. Look at Anton smiling over there. He knows.
Wait.
There we go.
Wait a minute, because the guy got standards, and maybe he didn't want you, and so his preferences led him to friend zone you, something that a lot of guys is not immune to. Women friend zone guys on a regular basis, and because if you want him, you're gonna have to express that. Then that means that he's jaded.
Why is he
She'll also call him a narcissist. Will this video end before she calls him a narcissist? It's coming. I'm quite sure about that.
talking like this, acting like this, and he was watching that red pill content? And I'm telling you, it's keeping you men single. It is keeping you single.
Actually, we are preferring to keep single because the quality of females has fallen so drastically. It is not worth it. It is absolutely not worth it, young lady.
Half of
I don't believe so.
the men that make this content are single men, or men that do not have a happy, healthy relationship.
I will tell you that she could never be more wrong. Right now, I don't get to pick and choose who categorizes who. I don't even think that the men that truly espouse real red pill values, because there's always going to be bad actors in every space, are even categorizing themselves as red pill. And as they look,
The same way alpha males don't call themselves alpha male, red pill. If you're red pill, you're red pill. You can see right through everything. You don't need to always brand yourself, because there's a lot of losers. I'm going to do a video about a certain loser who claims to be an alpha. It is one of the cringes, because the so-called alpha males that populate the space, they're so cringy and so stupid. They're so immoral also, and they don't have real values and principles. They're just random guys trying to act tough. I go to the gym, I take my steroids, I do this. It is so small. And most of them are con artists, actually. So there's that. Because that's the entire thing. They're trying to pull you to go buy some bullshit course from some bullshit guy who used AI to get you a bullshit course, or at least some life advice. You have to, a lot of these things you have to not only practice, but you also have to live it every day for it to solidify in your character. So you don't have to lie all the time or pretend like these people.
for more traditional women, or they look to women, and they actually take advice from men instead of from other women, and they're no longer simping out, and they're no longer just subjecting themselves to anything and becoming step baby daddies and all of this other stuff. Women are starting to get upset at it because they can't just run roughshod over these guys. And, even the whole definition of what they think red pill is, they think that it's some kind of toxic masculinity thing. I
don't believe, okay, for many of them who are ignorant, they do think that, but many of them, they're just about tarnishing the name. They know exactly what it is. In fact, most of them, if you ask them, as they're often asked on this podcast, do you disagree with this? Do you disagree with that? Do you want this man to do this? They always say yes. But then generally when they're out there with the girls or in the public where they don't want to be seen as siding with the enemy, they would go there, oh, this red pill. So they'll speak in generals. Because when people speak in generals, they can run away from being specific. So it's easier to lie that way and manipulate people.
ever understand why they ever got that. That's not what it means. What it really means is just to be aware of the truth.
Exactly.
It comes from the Matrix.
Exactly.
You remove the veil over your eyes.
Yes.
And that don't even have to do with just relationships. Most red pill content that I see, especially nowadays, it's about leveling up, getting yourself together. They hold men
Exactly.
accountable for not being the thing that you want other people to be when you look to get into a relationship.
And they always ignore this part because it's the major part of what the red pill movement is. But the more interesting the clickbait types of these 3 or 4s in these shows, Fresh and Fit, whatever, podcast, etc., those clips are what give rile people up. So they're easier to be concentrated upon, but majority of the content is always been about leveling up. I've not had any of those guys. In fact, even the red pill grifts come from leveling up. Most people, they understand it's a positive thing, it must be done, so they'll use that to con people, especially if you're a driven person who's not very careful. So you'll run into a lot of these charlatans that will take your money and give you nothing of value. Anyway, let's continue.
Politics, finances, everything that happens in your life, being a better father, being a better man. If you want this type of person, you're going to have to, level up.
Exactly.
That is the truth of what red pill really is. And so I think that it's gotten a bad rap by people that you may not necessarily care for because maybe some antics or something that happened, or you didn't like how harsh they talked to somebody or anything like that. But it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. It doesn't mean that it's trash. It doesn't mean that it's mean. It doesn't mean any of that type of stuff.
And the problem I have with a lot of people respond to this content is that they like to tone police people. Don't talk to me like that. It make me feel bad even if you're telling me the truth. I have zero tolerance for that kind of thinking. If you can't accept the truth, that's up to you. Go live your lie. But it will be fed to you exactly how I want it to be fed. Because that's who I am. We all can't say things the same way. We all can't pretend to be nice and just babying people. Because what I've seen for a very long time, when people are put in a position where they think even their mistakes are not that bad, and there's never real consequences, people don't change, or they improve, they never improve. And that's the bottom line. So we cannot live that kind of life where you don't take responsibility, because that is the mantra these days for both men and women. Nobody wants to take responsibility, so obviously more men are forced to take responsibility because we build everything and we have to maintain everything. So you can't go out there acting like a fool.
What it means is just giving men the tools that they need to be successful, especially for a lot of these guys that were raised by single mothers. A lot of these guys have been son husbands, and so take more pride in yourself. Have a better disposition about life. Spend more time leveling up and becoming successful in every aspect of your life.
And you see, the moment you do that, everything else falls into place. And this is the fortunate thing. It's going to be hard for you to make something of yourself, but the moment you do, everything else falls into place. Ask any rich person. Ask them if their problem now is, oh, my rent, oh, my mortgage, oh, my this and that, my groceries. It's past that. You have to move past the grocery stage. It's not for the women. Of course, when you're in that position, then you have to be discerning enough to pick the right women. But it's not specifically for these women. It's for you. Great women come as an added bonus to your great deeds. And that's how it should be. Stop simping and jumping around chasing mediocre females who do not deserve the fruits of your sweat. But most of you are doing this, so you devalue your effort by giving the fruits of your efforts to mediocre people.
Educating yourself. Be aware, right? Don't go into a liberal arts degree and then go into underwater basket weaving. Instead, get into the tech field or corporate America and level up and then start your own business. And don't chase women. That's one of the big principles that I preach, is that you don't need to chase women. Chase spirituality, chase growth, chase understanding, chase wisdom, chase your purpose, and seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you, right? Women come with it. Money comes with the success. All of the things that you could ever want. Matter of fact, when you get successful and you focus on having great character, because character is the thing that's going to keep you in the places that the talent is going to take you, you'll then have a much more fruitful life, because it's okay for you to have preferences too. It's okay for you to actually care about yourself and to place your purpose above whatever it is that you're going to subject yourself to that may not necessarily work out on your behalf. Maybe you don't want to have kids, and maybe you want to be a lot more careful with who you vet, who you're going to have kids with, because a lot of guys understand that family court laws is not going to work out in your favor, and so you got one opportunity, and that's why a lot of guys may want a prenup. They are a little bit more fearful of divorce instead of being excited about marriage because of the prospects and what they've seen happen previously. So when I see women say that it's keeping men single, I have to disagree. I think that it's giving men more options, because they're realizing that as they become successful and as they become greater, you have more options than ever. And so the biggest problem that you're going to have is being able to choose one. And so now that you no longer have the ability to manipulate men to do what you want them to do, you saying that they jaded because they friend zoned you.
And that's exactly it. You know, I would really like you guys to go and subscribe to Anton Daniel's channels right there. He's got 1.01 million subscribers currently. He's been growing astronomically. He puts out a lot of content, great content. And you see, that's why I let him speak for a while, because he's very well spoken, but also at the same time he's very knowledgeable, and he can really instill this, what we are trying to do. You know, content is fine. It can be entertaining. In fact, I want to start putting out some comedy. I've done 1 or 2 videos for comedy, but a lot of this red pill leaning comedy, and I don't mean just relationship. It's just about life, you know, politics and all these things, and business. We have to expand how we think to become more effective, and this is the next phase. You know, a lot of people, the Kevin Samuels, the Rollo Thomases, and all these people, they've laid out, the knowledge is known. It's how we communicate it now and how many people we reach, because the message cannot stop. If it stops, immediately they'll start clawing back the gains that we've had. These feminists and all these woke people and all these people that hate men, who are trying to reduce our efficacy, our potency in the world, they will start clawing back, because they do not give up, and we cannot. That's why a lot of channels must come up. Some will get viewership, some won't. Right here, I'm going to continue pushing to give out the knowledge that I think is important, not only to men out there, but to myself, because I keep learning things. Sometimes I watch videos like, That's why I listen to people who I would assume either as smart as me or smarter than me. Especially people who are smarter than me, people who have achieved more than me. That is the way to do things. And you also have to look at the way they've achieved it, because a lot of people are con artists. You can't follow a con artist to glory. Very few con artists actually make it. The most consistent way is to be good at something, stay consistent on it until, and of course you have to do a general assessment of the market for your skills, but it's to get a high value skill, stay on it until it works, because it will work, especially if you live in the West. Forget like in the third world where some of us have lived. In the West, you can break through and make as much money as possible, especially now that the politicians are trying to destroy the opportunities. They're trying to concentrate more on feelings and identity politics more than anything else. So you have to fortify yourself with this knowledge. Sometimes it doesn't help, sometimes it does. Anyway, I don't know what you thought about this video. Please leave your comment down below and a like on the video. At the same time, subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to leave Anton Daniel's link down below, so you can go subscribe. And of course to this video that we've watched about half of it, so you can go and finish up. He really speaks very well. He can give you a lot of knowledge up in there. And until next time, peace.